That's so sad.
Oh, that's brilliant. I love it.
So
I love that you're
smart.
making furniture.
I love the boys know how to make
I'm from
furniture.
Georgia, you know what I mean?
Is that right?
Yeah, I was born in Athens, so people.
If you want these, they're right there next to you.
Oh, okay. Oh, here
There you go.
I was wondering.
Yeah, wouldn't that be rude? Hey, what's up?
It happens.
Oh,
Oh,
my
look
gosh,
at.
we're sitting here in
Whoa,
the dark.
this is
Sorry
what I
about that,
sound
everybody.
like.
Here we are. Hey, what's up?
You've done so many podcasts. What do you mean that's happened? Did they really show up without your phone?
Look, man, we all out here just we just trying to get in the game by any way we can.
Is that right?
I'm from Atlanta, where people had to build their own studio in they bathtubs for hip hop music.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because they couldn't get funding for labels and stuff. Now look at the city. You know what I mean? There's a lot of
blown
music
up.
come out of the city.
Blown
yeah.
up, yeah. A lot of music, a lot of tech, production, a lot of everything.
Yeah, a lot of
They brought the
everything.
whole industry there, I think.
I don't know
anyway.
the new term for Hotlanta, but it's a great spot, and I hate that. I know that's not the right thing to say.
What, Hotlanta? Yeah, that was the name before everything happened.
Is that right?
Just off the weather alone. I think slaves came up with that name. No, just playing.
Well,
Oh my God, I love you.
We're hitting it hard right off the bat. Hello, everybody. It is Wednesday, March 21st. We are sitting here with Mr. Byron Bowers. Thank you for joining us in studio
Hey.
at our home in our dining room here.
So happy
How y'all
you're
doing?
here.
Am I hot?
Yeah, you guys are good. I'm going to turn those levels
Gorgeous.
down.
Yeah, I'm like a little hot right now.
You sound good.
Sorry to open with a slave joke. You don't know my sense of humor. I'm dark.
Well,
And
you are dark.
and
That's my sense of humor.
slaves didn't know actually where they were.
How's that? Is that a little better?
Yeah,
There we go. Okay, good. I didn't mean to interrupt your slave story.
Oh no, I'm
Jesus.
just apologizing for the sensitive people off the top, but we setting the tone. That's what we call setting the tone already.
Don't you feel you have to up front?
I do.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't,
Why?
but I understand. It's like meeting somebody. You know what I learned from doing stand up? What if you met somebody and they be like, "Hi, I'm Byron." You like, "Hey, I'm Ryan," and I'm like, "I like anal," and you like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah, that's not what I thought I was
Yeah.
getting into.
Yeah, so that's what I learned from like, yeah, you gotta
Comics are back in my world.
you gotta
This is so
ease people into it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's my
Well,
that's
how
my
you-
thing
that's
with
your
the
craft, right? I mean, that's the comics mind. That's the comics craft. You gotta mold that shit into what you want it to be.
yeah, and you know you're gonna talk about anal somewhere in this dinner
Sure.
party.
I was waiting for you to bring it up. I'm glad we got to it in the first minute.
But it's like let's let the wine kick in first. And do you want to do it over? Is it a Grigio conversation, or is it a Merlot? Is it a you know what I mean?
This is so great. Last Breakfast Club, our server lady was telling us a story about some woman that went bananas crazy and used the C word over Pinot Grigio. And I was like, you can't use that word for Pinot,
What?
for white wine. You
Yeah, that's
can't.
true. Up at Newcomb's Ranch, that actually happened the other day.
Grigio is
Danny
the
told
one-
us that story.
That's the one that sets me off. I don't really
Grigio or the C word?
Grigio. You know what I mean? The C word is new. I still don't get it. I
Yeah.
still don't get it.
What's the hint? What's the impact? Right?
Yeah, why people feel a certain way.
Agreed.
But I get into arguments with words
Yeah,
With-
they're the best kinds.
with people of color all the time. You know what I mean?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Only?
with the N word. Yeah,
Oh well,
because I use it.
that
like,
one might be polarizing to some.
Well, you know, especially to different socioeconomic groups of and different age ranges, and of black people. Some don't like it, some don't care. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in the middle. I like it sometimes.
Like it sometimes.
Sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah.
In what way?
Because it describes everything, and that word makes everybody feel a certain way.
Is it? This
Everybody got a meaning.
Takes you like an unease kind of a way, or what do you mean?
Well, I guess I live in the unease, so
Mm.
but it makes it could be used in a positive way. It could be used in a negative way. It could be used just as to describe, this cup of water right here.
I hope not.
You're like, man, this nigga warm. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah,
Is
you
your
can
water
use
too
it.
warm? Should we get you cold
No, it's
water?
perfect. It's really perfect.
We have
All right.
ice
This
cubes.
nigga perfect. You know what I mean?
Came out of the fridge. I thought it'd be all right. I had no idea it would
it like
invoke the N word.
A racially tinted version of the F word,
What's the F word?
the fuck word.
No, I think it's way more. It's way more
I said
explosive.
racially tainted.
I would put it closer to where you started with the C word.
The C word.
In that it's
Okay.
so punching you in the face.
Yeah, because the C
Okay.
word is something I don't understand when it's used, and I've seen people like did you know this person could just call me? And they flip out. And they actually about to fight over this
the
word.
C word.
Yeah.
Do you? What about when it? I mean, those two words are kind of. Most people already know that those words are going to be polarizing. What about when it's a regular word that you use all the time and somebody's like, oh, I don't like that word. Like, I have an example for Mrs. Ryan here. Moist. Some girls don't like the word moist.
Moist
and
is
they
dope.
flip out. I
Moist
know.
is a dope
they
word.
flip out.
Dry is the one you should not like. You know what I mean? Anytime you see a Clear Eyes commercial, you should be angry. I talked about this on stage. You know what I mean? And moist ain't even the best. Moist is just the entry level.
What do you mean? There's
You got
some others?
moist,
I think that's why we don't like it.
You got wet, you got gushy.
Oh, I agree, but
Soggy?
these ones would all be much more appalling to me than say moist, which didn't bother me at all.
Yeah, moist is like saying penis, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's technical almost.
But if somebody say you got some soggy vagina,
Yeah, it's
is
not a compliment.
that's a
probably.
compliment.
Oh, it is a compliment.
Yeah.
See,
Soggy's good.
This
Soggy's
is why
good.
dating sucks. You're like, that's not a good thing to say. And you're like, yes, it is.
What do I know?
You eat cereal?
I do.
You like it hard or do you like it soggy? You know?
Maybe I like a little bit of everything. Maybe.
Yeah, see, that's the thing.
I guess I like the mix.
Yeah, and then you drink the milk at the end.
Yeah,
That's
I do.
That's the sogginess right there.
Yep, you're
See,
right. And I
that's
do
what we
love
need.
cereal.
This is what we need to break down these conversations. But this is what we need with the whole movement going on right now. Because I feel
agree.
women are like rallying, and then guys are like, "Wait, when do we pull our penis out?"
Yeah, not
I
at all.
agree.
Apparently.
I went to high school with a guy who was like kind of an albino and like proud of it, like super stoked that he had no hair and stuff. But he also had no hair. He had like something.
Alopecia, maybe.
That's the one. And anyway, after school, there was always like an hour between like the school ending and sports because if people had detention, they needed time to slot that in.
Sure.
So the rest of us were just like at your own devices. He would sit outside on the like legs out on the floor and whip his dick out because he was so proud that it was albino-y clear.
Whoa,
Wait for
that sounds like an
girls-
excuse,
Man.
doesn't
Wait
it? Sound
for
like more
girls
like an
to
excuse.
notice, like have a conversation and like see how long it would take for the girls
Well,
to notice.
I guess that's got to be something different, right? Like if you in a area of like this is bad, that got to be like that whole gray area they talking about.
I think so.
Because it is clear. Like everybody would want to see a clear.
Why? All of a sudden, it's something to see. It should be in the Smithsonian.
Yeah,
when he dies.
I'm not a person that
It's science, right? It's science at that
Yeah,
point.
like how does it get clear? You know what I mean?
How did it get clear?
Because he's albino, like he didn't have.
But is he
eyelashes.
clear?
Like albinos, even when they do got hair, it's like an interesting color. So can you imagine like that wheat color?
That's
All
what
around,
was
all
going on
around.
down. It was a whole thing. So
Yeah,
like,
you gotta show that to somebody, right? That's a tough one, but I'm in favor of pulling that one out because
Well, the reason I'm being quiet is because we have a real life story. Sounds like a real life story as well, but one that I was actually present for. People love to pull their dick out in front of Mrs. Ryan. Apparently that's a thing. We were on a. This is no joke. We were on a. I can't believe I'm telling this story. We were back east on an old steam train, like an old locomotive.
I love this story.
Hang on. And we were in the. This is no joke.
my
we were
brain just was like white people, right? Yeah.
Bro.
But it sounds cool at the same time.
It's worse. It's worse. We're in like the VIP car of the old fashioned train to go on a riverboat thing. This is everything you're talking about. But it happened to be, I don't know how to say this properly, mentally disabled day.
Okay.
So everybody's riding the train.
Yeah.
A little bit of everything. And one fella, very nice guy, looking out the window, having a grand old time, sitting next to Mrs. Ryan, doing a little rub.
Yeah.
She says, look at a little of this over here.
Yeah.
And I think to myself, well, I mean, everybody's got to adjust a little bit. You don't know what kind of, who knows what's going on underneath. Maybe it's a bunching up. You don't know. Well, I was wrong because the next thing, that thing was out, and then the lady was coming down selling beer down the aisle, and he was doing the whole thing, and it doesn't
What was that?
matter.
Well, he was yanking on it?
Yes, he was rubbing it, and it was the whole thing.
But did the train go faster?
The train didn't go faster, but they have a program called Your Hand on the Throttle where you get to drive the train.
Oh, see, that's what I'm thinking. Like, maybe in his mind, It is a steam train, and it operates off.
He is. Maybe
know,
it was him keeping it going.
It's running off that energy. You know what I mean? So maybe everything just got him to a level, and maybe he's one of those guys who do it on New York subways.
Yeah.
And his dream was always to do it on a steam train.
Right? See, you're finding the backstory here.
Yeah, well, that's how I always have to look at it while there's stuff
Absolutely.
going on.
That's
Like,
comedian.
Absolutely. Dissect it. Get in there.
What
I'm always
made
been
that
in-
happen?
yeah. But when you always in strange situations, you always gotta ask yourself sometimes, like, okay, why? And you try to give things the benefit of the doubt.
Yes.
And I think my comedy is based on that, just finding the silver lining
Yes.
in certain things, you know. So yeah, that's why I always come up with these good backstories versus like, this guy's an animal. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah. How did he get
Animals
that
are
way?
formed, yeah,
Mhm.
you know.
Animals are formed. Exactly.
Yeah, we all got, you know, I mean, to me, especially because people think I'm weird and I don't think I'm weird, which is probably a delusion that I
What
have.
do people say about you that's weird? Why
I
do
don't know.
people
I think it's
you're weird?
because it's the mysteriousness that I have and
Are you
I see
mysterious?
life, I guess, differently. I don't know what
Mm-hmm.
it is. I ain't figured it out yet.
Good for you.
But people, yeah, that's just what it is.
But
I don't know.
I mean, good for you for being okay with that. But like, look, I don't know where I'm at, and it's cool.
But I mean, I'm starting to understand some things now that make sense. I look at like where I'm from and like my upbringing. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's just because it's different
Mm-hmm.
than what people, you know, came up as.
Mm-hmm.
Then they see your point of view is like maybe off. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
But now I understand. You know, the person like my father is paranoid schizophrenic, so
Really?
I'm gonna have a little bit of like see the world differently. You know what I mean? Or I'm gonna question things because the person that taught me everything, you find out later, had
That they looked at the life.
they looked at the life differently. You know?
Yeah.
What I
Isn't
mean?
that a mind fuck?
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, it's interesting, but I'm just now coming to grips with that. You know what I mean?
Me too.
So yeah, when I talk about
Yeah,
certain
you guys
things,
sound very similar in that way, figuring that shit out and
Yeah.
like getting down to the bottom
Because
of
it
it.
throws. I was telling you right before we started, and I derail everything, so stop me if I do. Right before we started, I have MS, and I truly believe that it's all that stuff of like,
Yeah.
I was wired wrong because
Yeah.
the people that shaped my purview of the world didn't know how to do it, so they just kept throwing shit at it to see what
Yeah.
would work, and so like I've got all sorts of different starting points.
well, I mean, that's
Not
the
a lot
thing.
of
You look
follow-up.
at it when you know, like when I mentioned, like you look at certain things on different planes. You know what I mean? Then that's what I mean. Like,
Like etherical planes.
yeah, like
Yes.
yeah, you know. So people look at it probably normally on a flat surface, and then I'm coming at it from 30 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Backwards.
No wonder you can see different shit.
Yeah, you know.
Standing in a different place.
But I can explain. I try to explain stuff to people too, and it comes across as like, wait a minute, what? Like I try to explain time travel
Yeah.
to
Oh,
people.
good luck with that. People do not want to hear. They don't know how
Well,
to
it's-
take that in sometimes.
It's simple. I just can't make it work. Does that make sense?
I want to hear
wanna
your
hear
version
it.
of time travel.
Well, if to me, you know, like they said, speed of light is what the fastest,
Supposedly
supposedly the
Yeah.
fastest way to travel,
that
right?
we can comprehend.
And time operates off that speed of light. Well, if you could travel faster than the speed of light, right, then you could actually. And I'm using that as an example. If somebody's walking down the street and that's the speed of light, and you run past them, you could turn around, and you actually are in the future, and you watching time come towards
Towards you, yep.
you. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
And that's the past, right? Now it's just moving back and forth between that is the tricky part.
It's interesting. I kind of almost believe that, they say time is sort of an illusion anyway, and it doesn't really exist, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I kind of feel that, and I guess it comes down to making decisions in the moment and all that stuff, and there is no past, there is no future. Where does that fit into the linear, there's a time and it's only going one direction and all that stuff?
It's to me, it fits. What I'm saying fits into what you're saying.
It does still
Yeah,
fit
because
in.
if you can maneuver back and forth, if you're faster than the speed of light, then you can run past it. You can run behind it. You can run past it again.
Theoretically, it's a whole new system of rules now, so we're not playing by the same rules anymore.
Well, that's
right?
what I mean.
That's the
You're
idea.
looking at it on a different plane.
Yep.
Like I told my Christian friends when I had LSD that I was able to time travel, and the past, present, and future is one.
Yes.
And he don't believe in it because he's a Christian. But I was like, you believe in God? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, your DNA is thousands of years old. That's on your body right now. You know what I mean? And your spiritual form or your being is the present.
Mm-hmm.
And the sperm in your balls is the future.
Mm-hmm.
That's all one thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was like, in the Bible, they call it the Holy Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And then he was like, hey, let me call you back.
You're all crazy educated on this stuff too. I didn't realize how deep you go.
Well, I'm not educated on it.
Well, I mean, you've done your research.
Educated
I
yourself.
haven't. It's just
These are your thoughts?
Your thoughts and your instincts, which I trust the instincts
Intuition
more.
is
Yeah,
huge.
intuition. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Because that's all you really have sometimes.
Well, you believe we're being downloaded information from time to time, probably being fed information here and there.
Well, yeah, you become aware of certain things,
Mm-hmm.
and it hits you like, oh shit, what am I supposed to do with it? That's
Right.
the hard.
Right.
That's
right.
the hardest part. You
Right.
know, like what am I supposed to do with it now? Or is that real?
Yeah.
You ever had a gut feeling of something and then it happens, and then somebody else come up off of it, and you was like, oh, I just didn't know what to do with
Yep.
it. So it's just those things, you know, and learning that even more.
How old are you? Can I ask that?
18 to 25.
18 to 25. That is perfect because I was going to say you could maybe play younger.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
So young.
18 to 25. I love it.
So wise. To
I never
Yeah,
do the
you are.
age
You
thing.
are awfully. No, I don't care, and don't worry about
But
it.
you know, I'm
That's
not
what-
tripping on it.
You are wise. You are old soul kind of fella.
Kind of, but then I'll just say ignorant stuff too, which debacles everything,
Aren't we all though?
which keeps you from getting shot by the CIA, just in case.
Really?
That's right.
Oh,
You
then
gotta-
I'm
you got to be
safe.
stupid. That's
Ah,
If
I
Dr.
sound
King
like
would have
a dumb guy.
added some craziness in his speech, he'd probably still be alive.
I add that to every conversation when I'm on a cell phone. I say, "Oh, and don't forget to pay your taxes, and the CIA is right, and I don't know anything, and I'm retarded."
I always have fun with it, and then like my dad, he be bringing up that stuff for real, and then I get into it, and then he'll just veer left with it. And I'm
Really?
like, oh yeah, that's right. This is nonsense. You
can't
know,
talk about that. You can't make that joke. Do you learn? Sorry. I
No,
have
good,
17
good. Please
questions.
go.
Do you still tour? Like go on the road? And
Not much as I want to at the moment. I'm trying to sell a television show.
Oh, well, that must keep you local here then.
Yeah, it do. And then like I have issues with my agency also. So I'm
Good.
at a weird spot in Hollywood.
Transitory spot.
But it makes you you could be mad at it, which I was for a long time, or you could sit back and hustle, you know what I mean?
That's what I was
And
going
it-
to say. When
and
do
it
you
turns-
take control?
Yeah, it realized like, oh, you don't have control of it, and then you start to plot like, how can I get control of it? And it's like, oh, I see why people are, you know, people complain about people being fake in this business and stuff, and it's like, oh no, they all trying to get something, but how well are they doing it? Because I see a lot of people that, you know, are in the middle, and to me that's the worst problem. When you meet people who got it and people who don't, they don't give a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like even before now, not to use a bad name, but the Harvey Weinsteins of the world, the monsters, they don't give a fuck. Just
Right.
like the criminals, they don't give a fuck. They do their
Totally.
own thing,
Yeah.
regardless of the rules.
They both
Their own
operate above the law.
ecosystem. It
Yeah.
is what
Yep.
it is.
They're
And
both
the-
outlaw.
And the people in the middle are the ones who like stressed out, trying not to get in the bottom place, but trying to get to the top place. But they don't know these people operate by the same rules. You know what I mean? And
Which are not what they're operating by.
no, and they sometimes live a more fulfilled life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you do it right, you do.
If you
Yeah.
take fear out of the equation, which a lot of, you take the polarizing sides.
Yeah.
If you take fear out, all of a sudden you can get a lot accomplished.
That's the thing, is mastering fear. I'm glad you brought that up too, because before I could really have a full mushroom trip, I had to deal with fear. And now that I think about it, that's probably what I'm dealing with now. As
Really?
you said that, I felt the vibration, so I had to look at that. I had to process
Oh,
that,
shit.
or what I'm going through right now. You know.
What are you going through right now?
Well, just like, the selling of the show, and then you come out strong, and then, I pitched 8 times, and I haven't heard all no's yet, so I'm in this weird limbo.
Yeah.
Or like, is it gonna go? Is it not gonna go? And still being,
We're in a
dealing-
similar boat right now.
Yeah,
It's very
dealing with that
interesting.
on the
Yeah,
inside.
Very
It's
interesting.
so uncomfortable.
Yeah, yeah.
The
and,
waiting
Swimming.
game is awful.
Tread water.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's very,
Tired.
it's very interesting, and then still having success on a television show, that people are writing me about, and then
Forgive me. You're on the Chai.
the shy.
The Shy.
Some people pronounce it the shy.
Okay, here's the thing. I didn't even
White
know it
people.
existed until doing research when you were coming on, and I felt like such a schmuck because I didn't even know about it, and apparently it's a big ass deal.
It's a big deal within certain, I guess, groups. Yeah, it's bigger than yeah, it's just.
Well, congratulations
Thank
for
you.
being a part of that. That's
Thank you.
fantastic.
That's a big deal.
Everything I've read is you're really, really good on it.
And you know what's crazy? I tested for the lead and didn't get it, so I was hurt
I read that.
when I went in for the part that I got, and then that part, which is not even on every episode, just on 5 episodes, half the season, the response that person got, and I was like, it's just one of those things. Like, man, you know, your instincts and you like all the no's was right.
Well, what I read in this article, it said that you kind of knew you weren't really right for the lead, or you thought they were testing you or something.
For certain roles,
Is
they
that
was
right?
testing me, yeah. But for this, I thought I had it because I would just walk. I saw, this is a script I read and I saw everything.
Oh.
So I could just walk in and do it.
You already knew it. It
I
was
knew who I
already
was
in
talking
you.
to.
Yep.
I knew what the trees looked like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You had
And
that
it was,
already.
yeah, it was interesting.
You saw it like you could visualize it
Yeah.
yourself, not like you knew and read up on something.
No, yeah, I
And that's
all
visualized
you're
everything.
doing.
And at the same time, just based on the story, I had somebody I know that was going through trial for something, and like all these things happening in real life too that mirrored the stuff that was going on in the show.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So
That's crazy.
yeah, it's very interesting.
I would write about that topic for days.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. To me.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Like, and then This Is Not Happening. Like, I left Chicago and came and shot my This Is Not Happening. Which
Where
is
did they do that, by the way? Because the location was very cool.
Cheetahs, a strip club.
Get out.
I think it's Cheetahs.
Because you
on,
look like you're on the freaking runway because the people are behind you, too.
Yeah, Los Feliz. Yep.
That's so funny.
That's why I'm leaning on the pole on the.
Yeah,
like,
for anybody who doesn't know, I think we've got a couple freeze frames of that up there. This is from the Comedy Central. There, well, I didn't want to do any video because they'd kick us off of YouTube, but we did this little thing here just from your opening. But that's the place, right?
Yep.
That's funny.
I think that's the name of the strip club. I could be wrong.
That's
on
the
that.
Cheeto strip club.
I think so. Yeah.
I love
But you
this
could go
Cheetos.
check it out. And that story was the day I found out that my dad did drugs, and that was like a real story that I told.
That's what we watched, right?
Mhm, yeah.
Yeah, like I'm fascinated by you.
I-
That you tell such raw. I had no idea you were so young. Like you tell such raw shit on stage, not in such a good way. Oh, was that? Sorry, if that
I
was.
think the
That was a good
1825
joke.
might have been kind of a generic.
Yeah, that was definitely.
That's fine. I was still like in my 30s in my head, so like I already got schooled. So this is awesome that you talk about such real shit that like I never know the line.
Well, I think I owe it to people. I remember somebody telling me you got to forget about certain people, but I'm like, I can't forget about certain people.
Right.
You know what I mean?
In what capacity forget about? Like forget about what they think or just lose
You got to
these
leave
people
them
from your
behind.
story?
You got to leave certain people behind in order to
move
get
forward,
to
to
move
advance.
forward.
Yeah.
But if you move forward enough, you get to a space where the people you around are, you know, a certain way, and you like, I don't.
It's not what I wanted to be.
It's not where you're alone in that area. You know, like I was in Hawaii. I remember I was in Hawaii, and I achieved, like, I was at a comedy festival and I got to it, and I was like, man, I'm here to tell jokes. And I felt like a lonely thing because I was there and I was like, man, if people from home could see this place. Maui is like what heaven.
Were you doing Maui Comedy Fest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like what heaven would look like. You know what I mean? And I was like, man, my grandmother could see this place. You know what I mean?
You don't think she's watching?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, so, I mean, she's still alive, but she's not getting on the plane. She's not getting on the plane. Oh,
You're
yeah.
so young. Of course she's still alive. I
Yeah.
forgot.
Well, you know.
19 years
She's like
old.
45.
Jeez.
The black women in my family, they like, my great-grandmother was 107 when she passed.
No.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's a lot of history.
No shit.
Yeah.
There's a lot of reasons you're interesting, man. You've got a
She
lot
was
of
born
downloads.
free. She was born free. Can you imagine that?
What?
No.
She was, yeah, her mother wasn't free. Like, she was born
Wow.
free. Like, that's
First
crazy.
generation.
Different conversations in that.
Yeah,
house.
I'm the first generation college.
Wow.
And then I meet people who grandparents went to college. So that's crazy to me. Like, oh, this is
Are
stuff
those
was here.
conversations weird? Are they different?
It's different to see their lifestyle and the way they think and handle certain situations. You know what I mean? Because my grandparents dropped out in like elementary school,
Mhm.
and my
Which
parents
was
the
common,
first,
right? That would have been normal.
Yeah. So it's like, oh man, because they the ones that I guess look down upon you in certain, you know, aspects when you show up at their place now, because you don't have the tools that they have. They 3 generations into society. I call it society.
Significantly worse than us and the millennials. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I
Like
mean,
the gap is significantly larger.
I mean, yeah, in a way, yeah, it is. It is. You walking in, yeah, to these conversations, and you are that ignorant country person because you operate off spirituality. That's all. That's why you here. You know what I mean? Dumb. I call it dumb luck or whatever. You know,
it's all that matters.
Country
though.
logic. You know what I mean?
It's all the real stuff.
And then you read stories about Henry Ford and these country logic guys who created the middle class. You know what I mean? And you're like, oh, it was some guys out there. You know,
it was all orchestrated.
Yeah,
I totally get what you mean. I had a different relationship with comics I worked with over the years because my grandfather was a truck driver. Chris's dad was a truck driver. Like we could relate on that level. Yeah, that other people can't. And like Lewis Black was angry as fuck. And like I was on the phone with him when he made up that Starbucks bit that he does about like it's across the fucking street. Like what side? What? Like the car was picking him up.
I remember that. Yeah.
Like I was on the phone with him for that because I could listen to that and not get offended by like his language and his aggro-ness over two Starbucks.
You're a very good bounce though. You really are. You're a good judge of comedy for one, and you're just also you just sort of take it. You'll just you'll take it until someone's done delivering, and then you go, and then give whatever. You know what I'm saying?
That's good. Yeah, I think people like yourself are needed for people like us. We like the liaison, what I call a liaison, the tell other people about us or get us into places, and you can see the point of view or see what we have. You know what I mean? And I mean that stuff helps.
I would say the same about you though in your comedy. And that's awesome. Like you're bridging such a gap that we didn't even know existed.
Well, I mean, hopefully that's the thing. You know, I feel like I'm that middle ground because I write jokes for black people, but they don't agree with it. So I do like a lot of.
What do you mean they don't agree with it?
Because it could be too weird for them or too, like if I was talking about Dr. King infidelities at one point and how that's just what he did, but he still was a great person. They was like, no, we can't. Can't discuss Dr. King's.
I don't want to get into all I don't want to specifically call out any of your material, but the great people that you just use one example. That is one of my favorite bits, and the other examples you give are just as good and maybe even better. I love that. It's a perspective issue.
Yeah, and they tell you can't talk about Michael Jackson's situations or Dr. King's situation, but I'm like, wasn't these people great? And they was like, yeah, but I'm like, if you take away their flaws, how people are going to aspire to be like them? Because they're going to look at them like they were too great. I can't be like that. Yeah. But if you add their flaws in the mix, it makes them human. Yeah. And it makes people like us aspire to be just as great, if not greater than them. And I'm like, you're right. You're basically enslaving the people. You're no better than what the people you talk about, which is like the way they call the white man. You know better than them. And you see that within, our culture sometimes. And I'm a threat to that.
Just
totally.
By being,
and I love
just
it.
by the way you
think.
Yeah,
I'm a threat to they're I don't want to call it black supremacy, but
You pull the veil back on everything. So yeah,
because I'm a human. Yeah, I'm a human, and I've held things in for so long. You know what I mean? I held in like my dad's sickness, or I was a guy in high school that smiled a lot. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that was me too. Yeah, parallels on that.
After a while, that stuff, and then now you got kids shooting schools and stuff, and I understand why. And there's nobody, and I'm pretty sure there's more people like that, and nobody speaks out about to these people directly and be like, this is what you could do.
Right.
To not, it gets better. You're just in a wrong place. Leave the school, drop out, and go create something. Be an artist. Go paint. Take the frustration out in different ways and watch your life 5 years from now be better. You know what I mean? And you will get laid. You will get laid.
Remind everyone that when you love yourself, you will get
laid.
Yeah,
it takes a while. It just takes a while.
Nobody knows how to look at themselves, man. You know what I mean? That's what I think. Nobody knows how. Nobody knows they're supposed to. Nobody knows that could fix things, change things, make things better. If you spend some time up here, and I mean like a lot of time, but if you spend time up here and don't be afraid of it, I think everybody's afraid of the silence. There's so many phones and gadgets and people and stimulation and everything that nobody's really ever quiet anymore.
But when you have those things stripped away, you know what I mean? You sleeping in your car, that's what you have. Those thoughts, you know what I mean? And or whatever your version of that is. You go to the woods. You go to the woods, your Twitter don't matter. You know what I mean? Go to the woods at night and sit there and watch what's really important to you and watch how everything reset when you start hearing footsteps scurry around in the woods.
Yep, in the dark.
In the dark. You know what I mean? Your cell phone is a flashlight, and that's it, So it's just being able to reset and find those things. I sat in church for a long time when I was a youth, realizing, and it just was something about it that wasn't right, about it. You know what I mean? And then you find other ways to.
Is that like youth group and stuff like that?
Well, just going
Just
every
church.
week and like being Southern Baptist where, you just got to go or your afterlife is going to be shitty. And then you go see other people live a great normal life that do shitty things, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And meanwhile, they're happy as can be.
They happy and just observing that and being in that place, you see people who even drink more or do more drugs because they feel guilty about it. And then they have to show up. And I'm like, this is a weird trap, you know what I mean?
I agree.
I remember my mom at one point going to church. She was down on our luck, about to get put out, and she was in the church was just giving away money, but getting houses for people. And she would go pray for a house and never got one, just waiting on God. And then we got kicked out of our place, you know what I mean? And I was like, man, I can't do this.
It didn't work.
It didn't work.
Yeah.
It didn't work, but it's like we knew, I would tell her, like, it got to be a better way. Like, you meet God halfway. He probably waiting on you up the street.
Yeah,
just
one block.
One block.
One block.
And that one block is tough sometimes.
That's what Mrs.
Usually
Ryan
the
over there.
hardest one.
She always uses. What's your analogy of the guy like digging
Oh,
underground?
there's a cartoon that looks like it's probably Far Side, whatever, one of those. But like, it's this guy tunneling, and it looks like an L of tunnel. And he's like a foot away from, if you were just to go straight,
he's about to bag it in or whatever, but like the goal, you had the cartoon, you can see that the goal is one more shovel, one more dig, one more just grunt in and do it, man. Just get in there and go live, whatever it might be. In your case, walk another block. I just love it. I love that you guys see eye to eye. Sorry for the sidebar.
Oh, no, it's cool.
I want to talk about your fears more too when you're done with this, because I want to find out what the hell that was all about. You had a moment there.
Yeah, I did. I just don't know what to fear. I have to tap into that because I still internally deal with stuff. So I'm like, oh, maybe I am afraid of this thing not selling or knowing what to gamble.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Or it's a thing of like when it comes to fear, like how like to get to the other side, what do you have to let go? Do you run towards it or you run away from it? You know what I mean?
That's
do you say,
struggle, right?
They might not pick up my show, so fuck them? Or do you be like, y'all gonna eventually pick this show up, and do you run towards it?
Yeah.
And I think that little faith in yourself is important, which I lack on sometimes. But if you believe in any type of higher power, and that you're connected to it, to have that lack of faith is not to have that faith in the higher power. And I'm constantly shown like, you gonna be all right, because we've been all right.
Yeah,
we made it this far.
Whatever you say about your situation, you're still here.
Yeah, we still here, which is a blessing. After a while, you start to be like, oh, this is a blessing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you forgive like mistakes like your parents made or even the people before them, because it benefits you some way.
Yeah.
You don't see.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Once you let that shit go, once you zoom out far enough and you realize that none of this shit matters anyway, it's all chaos. You can't control any of it.
You have fun with it or you appreciate it.
Then get in the flow, man. Get in the flow. And then you can actually make that shit swim wherever you want.
And that's the thing, is learning to let go. What they call it with Christianity, they say let go and let God, which sounds weird. But when you do it, it's like, oh.
Is it the same thing? Everybody's saying the same
Everyone's
thing,
saying
right?
the
All
same
these
thing.
religions and everything. It's all the same.
Yeah, it's all the same. It's just a different person's version of the story.
Right.
That's what I'll tell you, when I did shrooms, I had all these thoughts like, oh, because I had to tell Christians about my experience of meeting God and God letting me take over.
So you took shrooms and you met God.
Yeah.
All right. I can't wait to hear this.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I met God and God let me sit in the driver's seat. And that's when I realized like, oh, I am a piece of God. I am God. And then you're God. And we all are connected. And then having these experiences and then trying to tell people about it. And I was like, oh, shit. That's what Moses went through when he came off the mountain.
You're getting it.
Because I was in the mountain in Joshua Tree when I experienced all this stuff.
Somebody fucking talk to you.
And the wind that comes, the Santa Ana winds that come through these trees, and they make these whispering noises. And it sounds like these angels whispering, like all this, everything, you know what I mean? And I'm gonna eventually do a set about my whole trip, because I documented everything.
Okay.
Fuck.
Yeah,
yes.
Then don't tell it here. I can't wait to see
Yeah.
that material.
Come work it out here. We don't have to release
I
tapes,
documented
but like,
everything.
work it out here.
Yeah, man.
I
It
know
was
everything.
a very interesting experience. You know what I mean?
So you've done shrooms just once?
I did it 3 times.
Okay.
I did enough to have a bad trip. I was in I never wanted to trip in the city. It just don't seem right. And I was in London, and I did a trip.
Do you
and
know
when it
London
kicked in,
well? Okay.
Yeah.
But when I looked down, I saw trash, and I looked up. The whole city was trash, and we was near Buckingham Palace in the Mayfair district where they used to behead people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you
that's
started
not a
feeling
good
all those.
You got the souls and all
Energy.
that stuff coming out, right?
Yeah, and I felt what mankind. I felt the need to have power, like extreme power. But before that, that need came with extreme loneliness
Yeah.
and hurt, and the need to be in control. The losing something that much, it was really like the loss of love. When it boiled down to one thing,
Wow.
like the loss of love and feeling betrayed that much that you don't want to feel that way again. And I felt all of mankind's loneliness and the need to have exact power. You know what I mean?
Wow.
To the point where
That's
people around me,
crazy.
phone was dying, and everybody was complaining about their phone was dying.
Whoa.
And I had a battery pack in my pocket, and I never said anything until they asked me about it. And when they asked me about it, I just was like, I'll give it to you, but it's going to be this amount.
Whoa.
You know what I mean? To get it. They was like, why can you just can't share the power? And I was like, no.
I get it.
Yeah.
I
This is,
totally get it.
Wow. Interesting.
no,
Because
no.
you took a responsibility, it sounds like, for yourself, like the higher good of everyone. Of like, y'all are wasting all your shit. Like,
Yeah.
I've got a full battery. Like, if
I got
you
a-
need it, I got it.
Yeah, I got it. Now what are you going to do? And I saw like how,
Yeah.
you know, mankind can get to that level.
The shift so quickly.
The shift. And I'm standing outside of like, at one point I'm standing outside of Byron Proper Burger. And my name is Byron. And I felt as if I owned that whole corporation, right? And then they wanted me to take a picture outside of it. And they took a picture of it. And I didn't show up in the picture.
Oh, come on.
Stop.
Ooh.
It was one of those weird,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? That I was so removed, like I felt like a Scrooge type of person, like so far removed from.
like your astral body type of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
So yeah, that was.
It's like I always think of like that Back to the Future moment with the photos. Like that's I
When they're
feel like that
disappearing?
sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the past hasn't done enough to keep them whole, and they just disappear.
That's perfect illustration for just relevance almost. You know what I mean? Like if
Yeah.
you're not doing enough to stay there, you're gonna fade away.
I
Yeah.
literally feel like that sometimes. Like we've gone to a dinner, and I told someone, I'm like, because I asked the waiter, I was like, can I kept trying to get his attention, and he looked at me in the eyes multiple times and would not address me to have my attention. And a guy was sitting there, I was like, I feel fucking invisible today. I don't understand.
Which is not you ever. People are normally like, oh, what can we do? You know?
And the guy next to us was like, oh, and he just put his hand up and the waiter came right over. And I was like, what is happening? I don't understand. I feel like your photo.
No, it happens,
Byron's
man.
Burger.
It happens, man. Like, yeah, I've been to that level like 3 times. Oh, and that night off, you know what I had to do? All I wanted was to be in my mother's womb.
Whoa.
Right?
You thought that intellectually, you're like, this is where I want to be.
That's what I felt.
Okay.
Like I just need to be balled up all I kept thinking was water, womb, wetness. Cause that's the type of loneliness, like feeling close to somebody. And my girlfriend was there, and her producer, somebody, and they skipping off. They having a dope ass trip together. You know what I mean? And I'm behind them, and they would go in buildings I couldn't go in because of the energy. And then cops would show up, and I almost got hit by a
Whoa.
car. So all this stuff would happen, and I'm experiencing. She was like, "You all right?" And I was like, "Let me experience this thing." And I was like, it's painful, but I got to go through it. And then by the end of the night, she brought me through it when we was in the elevator.
I
Like, I remember seeing
so
her
what
and
happened?
crying. I remember looking at her and just her beauty or whatever. And I just grabbed and hugged onto her. And I remember getting to the room and running bath water. And we both got in and we just embraced as if we was like because I just
got
wanted
your
to be.
warm, wet
Yeah, I just
spot.
wanted to be in the room. And I just remember
Crazy.
massaging her in the tub.
Did you tell her that, or was that her instinct to put you in that
No,
situation?
I told her that's why I want to be.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Whoa. So
Yeah.
you just kind of simulated it.
and anytime I feel like bad or I'm going through something now, and I see her, I always have that moment, and it helps me snap out of it sometimes in life. You know,
No
what I mean?
shit.
It's crazy.
I love hearing.
Yeah,
shit like
yeah.
that.
It's cool that you have like a totem to kind of just.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. You know what I mean? Because she's such a giving, person, and full of like what she called magic and life and stuff like that.
This is your girlfriend you're talking about.
Yeah. You know, that is like, I see that, you know, sometimes when I'm there and I'm like, oh, this is what it's about. It's like a reset button, you know what I mean?
How do you feel after, like the next day, you know, after that? You
Um,
know what I mean? After going through your experience and then...
What, shroom or just that situation?
Well, I don't know. In general, that situation specifically, because you know, any night that ends in the bathtub is, you know, kind of like how are you going to be the next day? You know,
I think sometimes I'm starting to realize like anytime we feel a certain way, we're in our heads or we're in our emotion, we have to like get present.
Mm-hmm.
And once we get present, a lot of that stuff go away, or we're able to enjoy of feelings. Because at one point I pushed the feelings down so much I didn't feel nothing.
Yes, that's common, right? That's
so I
what
turned
we
into
do.
a robot. So now I try to feel the pain and sometimes enjoy it or enjoy. I got to think like understand. I got to understand what happiness is now. Because when people use those words, it just don't resonate. Just don't make sense.
Right.
It sounds so temporary or you know whatever.
Whatever.
So it just understanding how to feel those moments now. Versus like when I'm on stage and I feel those things.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. What do you do? What do you do? Take deep breaths, or do you kind of, you know, do like a central meditation type of thing, or what do you do to kind of, if you're having a moment where Jim Carrey talks about, you know, a couple times a day, he has moments where, and he's a pretty fucking chill individual.
Yeah.
A couple times a day where the little me is, well, why are they doing this to me, or what's happening, you know, versus.
Ego versus the.
It's all good.
Yeah, I realized like I started TM meditation and that helps. And when I'm off of it, everything gets louder again.
Really?
And I learned to like embrace that too. Because I always think about my dad, and he does it on a bigger scale. His voices are like real voices. That's his reality. The things he hears, even though it's not true, he's in that realm. He's in that inception world for good. And it's like, man,
just locked in there.
Yeah, and I'm aware of that. Like, we're all close to that world, but we're able to pull back sometimes.
Well, I think we all go there sometimes, right?
Yeah.
And we pull back.
Yeah, and that's the thing is
point?
being present, being able to like pull back from that and realize like I'm tripping.
Well, life's crazy, right? The world's crazy, so it's easy to go dark real fast, especially these days with all the shit.
With all that's going on. But when we think out, with me, because the type of person I am, I guess like if my girls say I'm selfish, I have to give. So stand up helps me give. I can go on stage and just talk about the whatever I'm going through, and I'm in tune, and I watch people reaction and they cringe, and I'm like, yes,
yeah,
that's right.
and
that's
we
what
hear
you want.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Or just focus on like, I should just go in the room and kiss my girl on the cheek, or you know when people rub their dogs, they don't feel that stuff no more, and it's like, we're not actually present or in a moment of giving, and having more control of that. You know?
Do you find that once you figured all that out, I mean, I guess that's what they talk about. Like once the veil's lifted, you can't go back. No,
you go back. You go back
you
deeper.
Go back? How do you find?
What do you mean?
I find that once it's very difficult for me to not be a mindful person these days and to not be present. And we just had a house guest who's one of my best friends in the world. And I was going nuts because he's still like a human, so to speak, where he's just talking about, you know, and he's a pretty enlightened dude too, but he's just talking about life bullshit stuff. Did you see this on the news or this? And did you hear the helicopter crash? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, fuck, dude, I don't even know what you're talking about because I don't live in that world anymore.
Well, yeah, I don't. My lady, she brings that stuff up to me, and you know, especially with the president, and I'm like, this guy's winning.
There you go.
He's still being talked about. People who hate him talking about him, people who love him. So with me, I started watching the news like probably over 10 years ago because I'm from a city, like a black city. So the news, everybody looked like me. So not only you seeing sad news, but it's everybody that could be in your house and stuff like that. So it makes you walk down the street. It creates someone you walking down the street, or you in a grocery store, or a gas station, paranoid. And then like all my homeboys got straps.
It's projected.
My mom got 3 straps. You know what I mean? My sister got a strap. You know, so I'm like, man, I need to like remove before I get involved in this energy. I need to remove myself from.
It's so
this
interesting
thing.
that you knew that.
You just knew it felt wrong. You didn't know necessarily why, I'm guessing.
Well, you don't. No, you kind of know why. But I'm like I said, I'm the first in my family to go to college. And
you have a different intellectual
education
spectrum.
teaches you. And I was first in my family that not only graduated from college, but tell them like this thing is education system is fucked up because education teaches you that 4 out of 5 black people carry pistols, or black people got a high AIDS rate, or all the negative stuff. Also,
they teach you all the stats,
and you got to go back, especially in science and math school, which I went to, and then you got to go back and try to tell people how to not better themselves, but how to think different, which is always tough, and then watch them not or get caught up in like certain television shows or whatever, and it's like, oh, I got to remove myself. I see what. Like where I'm from, they would be like, Dr. King helped the black community and hurt the black community because segregation took all the certain people out of the neighborhoods.
Holy shit. Interesting.
Yeah. So that's what happens when you come from a city like mine. You get perspectives that the world don't get.
That's so interesting.
So now you become one of those.
You almost get left behind in that situation.
Yeah, because you become one of the person that's removed because ain't nothing there but like the people who think outside the box in certain areas are the criminals. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've always said, like, any criminal, I watch a lot of murder shows sometimes. I enjoy them. But I've always said, like, if they would just do what they're doing for a positive benefit, they're so fucking smart criminals. Like,
but
they know what's up.
They don't know and don't have access around the people,
the access,
right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Like, like when I worked for Target, it's like, oh, Target making, or even when I hustled for a little while, I sold drugs for a little while, and I'm like, oh, because a nick here is not $5, it's $50 now. So for $2 a product, you're making making $48 versus in a city where you're making $3, right? But then it's the one of the biggest things in this town, this small town, is a pharmaceutical company, and I'm like, they winning, right?
Hands down.
So I was able to see that that these guys are winning because it's legal. They not doing nothing different than we are,
right?
But they hitting a wide range of people.
They went mainstream with it. Yeah,
and it's still legal, right? But you can't tell nobody that work at Target when they see the numbers Target bring in every year, and they getting a small percentage of that a smart person gonna be like, oh, if I work for Target for 3 years, I could become manager. Ain't nobody trying to become manager when they know I could make, just as much money as Target in a short amount of time. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And people take those chances. You know what I mean? People take those what they call penitentiary chances for that. And they're able to feed people. The best drug dealers feed that community. Yep. They bring turkeys.
It's every story, like Al Capone, like every good story.
Yeah.
Like breaking,
you're told that these are bad people, but these are people, like you said, who are putting food on the plate for their family. They're helping the community.
Yeah.
They're doing charity.
Steve Buscemi during Prohibition
Boardwalk
or
Empire,
whatever.
yeah.
The gambles are different.
Right.
Like Buffett. Yeah. Buffett, people look at investments from Buffett. But people, I like Buffett. He got the country logic. All his stuff, when he talks, you understand. He's not over talking you. He's talking like, I want to do Bitcoin because there's nothing tangible. I can't sell. You know what I mean? He say stuff like that. And you like, damn, you right. Yeah. And he don't spend his money living a luxury lifestyle. And he tells you because one, his people was in finance. His dad was, so he got the gift.
So he grew up around that.
Yeah, but he likes to gamble.
Right.
He like to play the game.
Yeah.
That's why he don't care about spending money. He don't care about winning or losing.
Right.
And that's what you got to see when you look at people. It's like he's no different than the people in Vegas that win big and lose big, who keep coming back every week, regardless whether they win or lose. They like to play the game.
They want to play, yeah.
Yeah. Jordan was one of those guys.
Michael Jordan?
He liked to play. Really? Whether he played good or dirty. That's why people call him an asshole. He never did nothing for the community, and people got shot over his shoes. He didn't say nothing. He liked to win. If you talk to people who met him and know him, he liked to win.
That was his thing.
Whether he don't care. He been caught cheating, you know what I mean, with card games and stuff. But he like, hey, I just like to win. You know what I mean? And he like to play the game.
God, that's funny.
If you learn how to play the game winning, that's enticing. I think I learned that in life a little bit too much.
Can we switch gears just a little bit? Just because I want to talk about cars for a second. Last time I saw you, I think, was actually at Luftgekult, the Porsche event last year.
Yeah, that is true.
No joke.
Yep.
That was the last time I think I saw it. Well, we went to your taping, the comedy, some taping, I think.
Yeah, the
for
taping
you as
to
well.
submit for Comedy Central, which they didn't pick up.
Oh, all right.
It was a great show.
Yeah, it was a great, you know what I learned? This for anybody out there listening, even for this podcast, people like us who see things different, it's hard for the masses or sometimes the people in charge to give us the green light on certain things. So we got to keep pushing ahead and show them
Mm-hmm.
our point of view on things, and then they eventually click, or it won't. But either way, we have to do it our way and set our tone. Because once everybody cross the line, then it becomes the thing.
I love this.
You know what I mean?
I love that when the minority becomes the majority.
That's what I learned.
Absolutely.
It becomes the thing. You know
One
what I mean?
person at a time.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I
So
agree.
yeah, I was at the event. It was some beautiful cars.
Yeah.
Some beautiful cars.
So
man.
I'm actually walking to my car. And I'm like, Byron? He's like, hey, what's up? Not having any idea. I was like, oh, I met you at Ian Bag, and we've met a couple of times. He was like, yeah,
And
So
then-
out
of course.
of context.
Yeah, let him in the employee gate and everything. It was great.
He pulled that pretty yellow,
Our car's
beautiful
pretty.
car out,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Why you get this color?" It stood out, and he told me, and I was
My
like, "This
fault.
is dope." Oh, it
It's
was
a
on
smiley
you.
face. Yeah, smiley face.
Yeah, he wanted a gray one. Like, he wanted a proper dude Porsche. Like,
Beautiful,
normal.
gray.
Beautiful. There's nothing wrong with any of them. But we walked into wherever we were looking at the gray car, and there was a little yellow car, like, peeking out from back somewhere. I was like, that one looks happy.
Like a little rescue
That
dog.
looks like a
Yeah,
smiley
and
face.
we were going through some crazy shit at the time, and we needed a little bit of sunshine and a little bit of happiness and a little bit of yellow car.
Ain't that amazing?
Mm-hmm.
How you
Needed
find it? You know what? When I got mine, I was married before I was going through my divorce,
Mm-hmm.
and it didn't really work. So while I was working through
All right,
everything,
when I met you, you had a 944.
yeah, but I was building that car.
Okay, that's
as
what I
that-
remember.
Yeah, as that
Was it 84 or 83?
83.
Okay.
83 944. Was it 82?
I don't know. But I
Whatever the
remember
first
black
year
on
they
black.
dropped.
I remember that.
Nope.
No?
Champagne color.
No.
Black on black got me pulled over a lot. So I wanted the most.
Come on.
I wanted the most corporate looking. I'm like, what color do execs, boring managers
Champagne.
drive?
Oh,
Champagne tweed seats.
Whoa,
is-
that's actually cool. That's
yeah,
rare
Funny.
car.
brown and dark green interior.
That's funny.
You don't have this car
backward
anymore?
way.
Man, no,
I
did
bet it
not
would be
know.
so rare nowadays because of the colors.
I did not know that the price would go up on these cars.
Who knew?
When they get hit, they get totaled. I paid $1,900 for it. They gave me like $54. So of course I'm gonna take it.
You're good.
And then I was like, I'm about to buy another one.
Mhm.
And then they was a good ones were at 8 and 10. And it's
then-
like, man, do I want to build another one? Because what I got for 19, it wasn't a daily driver when I got it.
Right.
But I tinkered with it. I mean, I put the
Made
shocks
it
on
one.
it.
But
in
you
the
were
street.
taking it. You were driving it to the comedy clubs at night. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I made a daily driver. I drove it to
You
San
made it
Diego
one.
once a
Yeah.
week.
Whoa.
What?
Yeah,
That's
Yep.
awesome.
Did you show
They had
down
the
there?
they had the I had a show. Yeah, I had a
Okay.
weekly show,
That's
and I would
awesome.
put like 5 people in it. I take the top off so their head wouldn't hit the roof,
Yes.
Oh my God.
and we would drive down there. I drove to San Francisco. Like it's nothing more rewarding than building a car and you nervous of driving it, and you drive it like 7 hours, and it makes it.
Yep.
And you like
Talk about the
oh,
confidence.
Wow.
Yep.
That's fantastic. I love that
My
about you.
my first one when I was 19 years old was a 944 turbo.
Oh wow.
When it was still that was still a poor man's 911 back then. It was
It's-
like it was
yeah.
I got made fun of because whatever, my dad had just died. I think I told you that. My dad had just died and I had a little bit of money, so I bought this stupid car. Same thing, I paid like $6,000 for it maybe. It wasn't much. And or maybe $3,000, whatever it was. It wasn't much. But 944 turbo, I was a drummer and I had a 7-piece drum kit and everything, a rack and everything in that car, and I made every gig on time, no problem.
Solid.
Never forgot a thing.
Solid motor.
Everything
man.
fit in that car, and it drove all the time.
And you know that car. I think your car's still what 17. That car now, 17 to 20, a good one.
Oh God, a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're pushing 30.
See,
A turbo.
Yeah.
I think they're pushing.
And when I
30.
got mine, they
I
were
mean, and
10.
that's nice, not like a super redone one. I think that would be even more.
man, yeah. When I got mine for 1900, the turbo was $10,000.
Yeah, I think you can't touch a 924 for less than $7,000 or $8,000 these days.
That's the thing. Like, and I'm looking like to get back in the game now, and I'm like, man, I gotta work hard. That's why it's like,
Stick with the 944 though. I love that car.
I
Would you
gotta
do that
sell
one
a
again?
TV show. I don't know. You know why? I drove my homeboy what 993.
Well, that's a
Which
whole
one?
different
Which
ballgame.
one is the 2001?
996. The one with the
996.
headlights nobody liked.
Yeah.
And I don't have a problem with because that car
Are those
drives
the ones
good.
that have like
But
the,
The headlights that
Yeah.
are weird.
the
And it's long. It's like a long body or something.
It looks a little bit different. Yeah.
But he's a American car guy, so he's forgiven for this. But he's G2ing the car up, and he's putting a supercharged LS1 motor in it
Oh my God.
because he likes to go fast. Like none of his cars got under 500 horses in it. So he's that person.
Just wants a heavy pedal.
Yeah, and he got that car for like $4.
Ugh.
Cause it's in Georgia, they don't really drive
Right.
those cars, and it was laying behind somebody's shop.
That's the way to get them, though. That's the only way you'll get one these days.
Yeah, if you
Just go
build
do
it.
that.
Yeah.
Well, go find one somewhere else where they don't know that if you send it to California, it's going to be worth 4 times the amount.
Man, but he bought a car from Arizona, 68 GT Pony Mustang,
Mm-hmm.
and this guy built it. The mechanic built it for his son, but his son wanted it like a what they call it, a ricer.
Oh my God, an
Yeah.
import car,
Yeah,
Honda
import.
or something.
Yeah,
Toyota.
so he got that for 17 grand, and then I think he put like 10 into the motor.
The Honda he got from
No, he got the
17? Mustang.
68 Mustang,
Oh,
and he put it was an automatic transmission. He put a Hearst in it, spent some money on the motor, and then something happened to the car, and they gave him a check for $50,000, and then he took 40 of that, and he bought a '69 Shelby fastback body.
whoa. That's a way
And then
better
built
car.
it
No,
out.
he got the body for that car because he's been dealing with cars so long. He know how to get the parts in cars cheap, so he got the body. He spent 40 on that car. And
But
when
it's
that
a
car
real
was
Shelby
done,
body.
It's a real Shelby
Yeah,
body.
so all of a sudden,
Yeah.
you just build a good motor for it, and you got a decent.
And that
decent
took him 5 years, $40,000,
Mm.
and it got appraised like years ago. It got appraised for 186,
Mm.
and he took that and took that car off, and then he built that car buying and selling Chevys because he was like, I heard they easy to build and they cheaper because he's a Ford guy.
Interesting.
So he would buy all these Chevelles.
Is there truth to that? I don't really know.
He buy Chevelles, buy them like find them 19, sell them for 40.
Whoa.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's
that works.
crazy.
That's a model right there.
So and then he got his own '69 Camaro, which is a expensive car, which he built for cheap, convertible.
Wow.
And I'm like, man, he's sitting on some stuff. And he's like, people buy Teslas. Why would I pay a note on a
Yeah.
car? And he's like, I got 18 pink slips.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, it's like stock to me. You know
especially
what I mean?
well, we
Once you
say
can
that all
look
the
at them
time.
that way, yeah.
If you're smart at what you're doing, and I mean Seinfeld and Spike and the Porsche guys and everything, they're doing okay.
That's a real estate bubble right now.
But you think?
I'm like, man, I might have to wait for the bubble to come down. But the car is so beautiful, and it's still authentic from the way they made them so long ago.
Mhm.
That is, I don't think pound for pound, like that's one of the best. And if you're not buying a Bugatti or something, pound for pound, that's one of the best cars to me. A Porsche 911.
'Cause
That's
they
why I
keep their
want
value.
one. They keep their value, but it's made well, and you could track it. You could drive it on the street
Yep.
with no problem, and then you could track it. You could have fun just
Have
driving.
you tracked
normal.
cars? Is that your thing?
No, I did a BMW driving experience.
Oh, we've done.
I used to drive
You've
fast.
I have?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I used to drive fast on the road,
racetrack with Santa Anita.
Right.
and then that slowed me down. Getting in the
Really?
car, getting in a new car, and with a race car driver, and they having you push the car, and you really sliding on the road, and you really seeing what driving is, how to balance a car. It's slow. It's like, yeah, you need to use your money and track a car, and leave the regular driving on the road.
You grew up in Georgia,
Yeah.
correct? Did it snow a lot there?
Ever? Enough. Like 2 inches will shut the
Did
city
you
down.
drive in it? Okay, then the answer is no.
Oh, you driving? You got black ice.
Okay, that's tricky. That to me, we grew up on the East Coast, like in feet of snow. So like we learned to drive. My birthday's in December. Like you could get your permit when you were 15.
Oh wow.
So like I learned to drive when
She
I
grew
was
up in Rochester, like
15.
almost Canada, so like lots
yeah,
of snow.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
like way up there. So driving on that kind of weather to me teaches you what I hear guys talk about tracking. So I was curious.
You're right about that. As far as car control and not upsetting the balance, which
Yeah.
is what you were talking about on the racetrack,
Yeah,
you
like,
absolutely
I
learn
grew up
that
doing
stuff.
dumb shit like put sand in your trunk and like
Yeah.
cat litter is
It's for balance,
can
yeah, for weight.
qualify and like dumb stuff.
I seen somebody do it in a stick one time. We was in Virginia. The thing about the snow in the South is not a lot, but the roads freeze.
Yeah.
Right.
But you can't tell because
Right.
it looked like just wet roads.
which
That's
is what
our
you're
problem.
used to.
Yeah, that's our problem. So you'll be driving on a wet road, and then you'll hit something, and then your car just automatically just starts sliding. And you gotta learn. You just gotta learn to take your feet off the gas and
Prepare to
Steer
be
through it
and
Yeah,
unprepared.
figure it
holler.
out.
Yeah.
You holler while you,
Yep.
you know what I mean?
Figure it out.
Yeah, or like you literally just screaming. Yeah, at first, you know what I mean? Yeah. I've been in some situations where, yeah. Coming up I was coming up what is it, the 5? No, I was trying to get on the 5 from the 110. You got to go into those bridges, and I timed it wrong. I'm all the way in the right lane, and it's a veer left, and it disappears, and I had to come from the right to the left, and my car slid. I tapped the brake just enough for my car to slide, and I hit the little yellow rail. But if I would have kept going, I would have went over and off the bridge. But I slid into that turn. Yeah. That's what I was like. I had a lot of moments like that.
I think all the little things went up in my
Man.
body.
Just
Everything went up in my body.
I got in the 944. I had to learn how to drive. That was my first rear wheel drive car.
Oh, really?
So I put van tires on that car, and they was like, "You should put sports tires on it."
What do you mean?
I was
Wait,
like-
what are
Because that's what I could afford.
van, like a truck, like a van tire?
Yeah,
Because they were
like,
less expensive than a high performance
and I was like,
tire.
they fit, and they was like,
No, they don't fit.
they did fit.
Come on.
They did.
It didn't look like the Back to the
Technically-
Future car off road and everything,
No,
like the part 3.
It fit normal. It fit normal, and I didn't know about I didn't have anti-lock brakes, so I'll be on the freeway and I brake ahead of time. But when I would hit the brakes, the car would just slide, and it would stop like 3 feet before the car in front of me, and I'd be on the freeway just screaming, and then people would look, and I'm in there like, and I look over at them like. They'll see the air come out of me, and I had to learn how to drive a manual car all over again with no power steering, or nothing. You know,
That's
I bet
crazy.
you're a way better driver now.
man. Yeah.
I love all of that.
Yeah.
So, all right, you also had a E30 BMW though. at one point.
E46.
Oh, you had an E46 BMW, but you had all right. So what do you have now?
I got an E90.
Oh, nice.
E90 sedan now.
Sedan, yeah. I had the E92 at one point.
I like these Beamers, man. I drove a Benz, but it's too boring.
It's a different thing.
It's boring.
It's
It's
boring.
like it's like Upper East Side.
Yeah, I'm like, this car don't even rumble when you turn it on. It's
Once
no,
you're 25 to 40, then maybe the Benz. Later on.
yeah, okay. Then my next next range.
Yeah,
Your
yeah.
next level, and you want like a cushion. under
The
your
buttons
butt.
the buttons look weird in them. They just look plain and everything. But
I'm not in the market or in the interest of having a new car because I'm sort of over shiny things. But
I don't blame you.
of the newer cars, I actually think the Mercedes are the better looking of all of the Audi, BMW, Mercedes because they sort of still look the
Really?
same. And the Audis and BMWs all look like Transformers to me now. They all look like the
Agreed.
import cars,
That's
like
true.
the Hondas and the like
We had
the
the M4,
Acuras and
it was
stuff.
just like a transformer.
wow,
I had it for a year and it was just stupid. I mean, I thought it was going to be everything, and it was, and I didn't want everything.
oh
You know
wow.
what I mean? It was one car that could do everything. It could be a monster race car.
Yeah.
It was obnoxiously fast. I've never owned a car rather, so experienced on a regular level, that kind of speed. And after having it for a while, and it was so much technology and screens and
Yeah.
everything, it was just like,
Who are
we
we
realized
talking
we
the other
didn't
day?
we didn't like that. We didn't want it.
They pump in fake car sound.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Even the noise of the engine's fake. And I'm like, bro, I'm not
Yeah,
into
that's
that.
weird.
I'm not into that
No,
at all.
thank you. For
I'm
women
like
like
Mr.
me, no, thank
Authenticity.
you.
Like, I don't like the bullshit.
Well, the thing is, yeah, once you own a manual car, I like the seat heaters and like
That's
Yeah.
one thing we don't have. I
Automatic-
wish we had. That's
Yeah.
the one
automatic
thing.
wipers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's cool. Like it's some things that are cool, but just to drive a car with no power steering, and the feel the rumble when you crank it and have a certain smell to the car is like nothing beats that
Yeah.
feeling when you sit in it and like knowing that this shit can kill me. That's what I learned in that car. Like, oh, this car can.
You got to respect it.
Yeah, you got to become one with this thing, or it's over. Like you see how people have these weird stories of like these tragic endings because this car, yeah, you can lose control easily.
That's the 111 for us. It's one with the car, one with the driver, one with the road, one with the car.
Yeah,
It's just 111. You know what I mean? Just mindful
Focus.
the whole way. Yeah, and you know how it is. Pedal down, eyes up.
with a manual car, for those who don't know, you could feel, even if on a smooth road, you could feel how uneven it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's how in tune you have to be with everything. And if it's mist outside, I lost control of the car with mist outside, leaving Comedy and Magic.
Well, with van tires.
Well, yeah, I mean, you learn your lesson. You know
I've
what
got
I
to
mean?
see a picture of this thing at some
FYI.
point. That's a riot.
Yeah, like, yeah, you know, you make those mistakes and you learn, you know what I mean? you learn about specifications on German cars.
Truth is, I never thought anything about tires back in the day because I was like, that's the wearable item. You just wear those out and then you put new ones on. So I never really got it either. And then, later you get to a certain point, you're kind of like, you experience good ones versus bad ones, and that's over pretty quickly.
You dealing with horsepower, you dealing with torque, low end torque, you're going to need some tires on that car. Because any lane shift or anything, you could lose control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's going to go. That's the beauty of it. Naturally, you got turbo or naturally aspirated?
No, it's a very low horsepower car. It's only 350, not low, but I mean, for 911s and stuff, it's like 300 and something horsepower.
But that's
turbo.
That's all I need.
It's
I need
tons. It's too much. In fact, I think
much.
250 would be perfect. 250 or 300 would be perfect for that car instead of 350 or whatever it is. Because we stripped it out, so all the stuff's out of it too. It's like no back seats and no center console, all that stuff.
What?
Yeah, I'm like a purist. You know what I mean? And it's a daily driver. No
Man.
joke. My only car.
No
joke.
subwoofers in it?
No, they're in
No
a
radio.
cabinet downstairs in the garage.
Wow.
No radio, no nav, everything ripped out.
How's the sound on it? Did you
You mean like the exhaust and
yeah,
stuff?
did you
It's all stock.
it stopped but it sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Cars always got a good rumble, stock rumble to it.
Yeah.
It's not too much either.
Yeah, I mean, it was, we bought it pre-owned, so maybe somebody else did something, but I think it's all stock.
Man, yeah, see that's that stereo. That's one thing I would need.
Would you drive by yourself in it mostly? I haven't met your lady.
I usually she don't like the way I drive. Stomach get upset.
Yeah.
She's Israeli, so she got a whole neurotic thing. You know what I mean? I got a joke about her. I got a joke about dating a Jew driving a German car. Because when she in the car,
Gotta come up. It's gotta come up.
When she in the car, you can't turn the heat on without hearing about her grandmother. You know what I mean?
You didn't.
Yes, I did.
Yep.
I'm so happy right now.
I'm
like
like,
a
I'm
it's
a
like a
tropical
furnace in
person.
here.
Yeah,
It's like a
gotta
furnace
make it,
in here.
I gotta make it like a oven. You know what I mean? I'm a tropical person.
So we started with old-fashioned train travel, and we're ending with some sort of oven.
Oven, yeah.
Racism throughout
Steam.
is the theme
Steam.
I enjoy and I will latch onto.
Believe it or not, I took on a drive yesterday, and it wasn't bad. Like I went the speed limit, which 60 to her is like fast. She drives. She don't drive on the freeway when she
At all.
drives. And she got an Audi S-Line A5 that she don't even
That's
drive.
a hell of a car.
I'm like, you need to sell
Hell of
that
a car.
back.
Mm-hmm. You're not using it. Yeah.
Because when I'm out, she got pedal shifts. She could shift it she got
From her
everything in that
hands.
car.
Yep.
Like if your
And
feet
she
don't
don't even use it. I took that car to Ohio one time, and I had a ball
you
in
had
that
fun.
car. Yeah, and we both go to like Joshua Tree. So once you get the car off road, it's both cars, it's fun to me. You know what I mean? But she don't even use that car. She drives on the road. Our first date, we went to
That's what I
the
like to
drive-in in industry, the city of industry.
Yeah.
And she was like, I want to pick you up and take you. One of the few times she drove, you know how it is when they knew, they'd be like, I got this idea. One of the few times
Take you on a
she
date.
never been. She wore a cocktail dress and some heels
drive-in?
to the drive-in.
Ouch.
She wanted to look pretty for me. It was
That's
weird.
really nice,
I'm
I
in
guess.
jogging pants. She's like, I'm going to let the top down. We going to drive. We got on the freeway. Her hair was out. It was blowing in
No.
her face. She can't really see.
Yeah.
We going 40. You
It's
know, I'm
not
like,
working.
what's going
it's
on?
not working. I could feel it.
Then later, she just like, I usually don't take the freeway. I'm like, you drive the road everywhere? So,
Where's she from? She from
Can't
here?
wait.
yeah, Tel Aviv.
Oh, what's the driving like there?
Man,
Are they allowed yet?
what?
To drive over there?
Yeah,
Is that somewhere
Let me
else?
tell you something about Israel. They got way more women independence than guys. That makes
Really?
sense? Yeah, because the women got to join the military.
Oh.
So yeah, everybody had the mandatory join the military. So they come
So
up.
it's all equal.
They come up equal.
Cool.
You can
That's
tell by the
nice.
way they talk to each other. You know what I
I
mean?
love that.
So it's a lot of what I call bickering, but that's just how they talk to each other.
We'll be able to tell the way we see her talk to Byron.
Oh yeah, it's definitely like, did you lock the door? Yeah, I locked the door. Let me check. I told you I locked the door. So, but I was over there and I heard a man and woman argue about where to put the quarter in to pay the part for parking. You know what I mean? You put it in here. No, it says you put it in here, but the thing here. So it's like, yeah, it's one of those.
How long can that go on?
For a
That
long
sounds like
time.
a lot of sibling conversation.
But,
like I was saying the other day.
I drove all from Tel Aviv, which is the top of Israel, from the sea, all the way down to Eilat, which is the other sea.
You drove that?
Yeah, I drove because that's 2.5 hours or 2 hours between. You could drive the whole Israel in like 5
I was gonna say
hours.
the whole thing's not that bad.
Yeah.
Right? Not that big. I mean,
But the beauty of it, and I wanted to rent like it was expensive to rent a Beamer over there, and I tried to rent a Mazda 6, but when you show up to the place, they was like, we got this Toyota Corolla, and it's like, damn. So it's me in a Corolla.
Stop.
Going through their canyon, their roads.
Did they have anything else? Why were you in a Corolla?
That's what they had.
that's just how it worked out.
And over there, they was like, I don't know if you want to drive because they neurotic. They like, it's going to be scary. They said the roads are dangerous. And I was like, let's see. Man, I get on that road, 160 kilometers. And that's just me chilling.
It's got to be about 100, right?
Yeah, that's like 100 on the nose. Well, no, because everything's moving. It's people moving past you. And it's one lane. And it's trucks. And everybody just, boom. I'm talking, everybody's passing you. It's 10 seconds going 160 kilometers to pass a semi on a road like that. And you taking chances. Because some of that road is not all straightaways. It's a lot of like canyon curves and stuff. Yeah. That's what makes it beautiful, like hairpin turns and stuff. Yeah, because we went through Mispay Ramon, which is like some of the biggest craters on this planet that you're driving through. So yeah, you're driving these windy roads, and it's beautiful. It's like driving from here to me driving when you drive from here to San Francisco, but less straight. Like it's not all straight.
Well, yeah, I kept being like, oh yeah, okay. It's like that when I used to drive from U of M in Ann Arbor through Canada to New York, like Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
Like, it was up, but it was
so, easier for you to go through Canada, right?
Yeah, it took so much longer to go below and around the lake.
Get that out, you know.
That was
It's not at all the same.
We got to work on
nothing windy.
We got to work on talking through that.
Need a little
like
cough
when to
button.
come in versus just like listening to what it sounds like through the microphone.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right, Byron. I don't know what I'm doing yet.
When you have your
I'm just
podcast,
all about the
you
authenticity.
can-
No, I like to hear.
Sir.
I just want to hear what the phlegm sound like through the
Oh,
headphones.
You heard it too.
horrible. I'm
Yeah, I
so
heard it too.
sorry.
Make sure you turn your volume up on that part. You know what I mean?
I'm done.
We've been going for over an hour already, but I want to ask you specifically about the LA comedy scene right now. I feel that it's as somebody who is just an onlooker, I feel that it's exploding, or it's been exploding for a few years more than it had been since I've lived out here, and it almost feels like another resurgence, like the '70s when Carson moved out here and they did that show. Jim Carrey produced that show. I'm dying up. We're dying up here.
Yeah.
And it's all kind of leading into the same place, and I feel like it's another golden age heyday of Los Angeles comedy. And that's just from an outsider's perspective looking in. You're in the thick of it all. What's your perspective?
I mean, it's good for comedy like everywhere in the world. Part of me, it's a love-hate with it because comedy is segregated in LA. And when we lost the Meltdown, we lost like a major part of the alternative scene.
Okay.
Which is crazy. But now you had like independent shows, and that was a big independent hit.
Okay.
As somebody who did independent shows and do clubs, now the clubs are rocking now. Like I'm at the store, they almost doing like 6 sold out shows.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm talking about because it seems like the improv,
Man,
they're all
the
doing
improv
well.
doing numbers now, I'm happy to play both. You know what I mean? And it's great, but at the same time, I'm seeing like a lot of bullshit comics work again. And this happened before,
okay,
right?
Yes.
And then when that
Saturation.
ended, all of the strong people like, the Louis C.K.'s and the Pryors and the Chris Rocks are the ones who made it out of that whole thing,
Through the fog, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like I'm like, I need to be able to be prepared to make it through the fog.
It's time to shine.
But
absolutely.
I still would want to make some money doing this thing before it bursts. Cause I look at it like I guess like the real estate thing also. Like, yeah, I want to get a house while everybody's out here getting houses and stuff. But I don't know if the market is set up for me at the moment. As a dark comic with the current state of what the president is going through.
Is that affecting the comedy scene?
I think in a way, but this is the thing. It's gonna work in my favor because of social media.
Yeah, thank you.
Because everybody is fake online.
Yeah.
That the realness, like if you notice all the television shows, like all the real shows are sticking through. All the shows and all the movies, like the 3 of Billboards movies, or that show these real places and these real emotions.
Yeah.
All these movies and shows are like winning awards, like Handmaid's Tale and stuff that show like these real things. So it's funny that
Stuff that showcases humanity and
Yeah.
important stuff, right? Not just the hoopla of society, etc.
and somebody mentioned, like, somebody in advertising, I think that people, because of social media, people are portraying their fake selves online, or they live in a fake life that when they come to entertainment now they want something real.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh. So I think, yeah, I'm trying to pay attention to that and try to see how I can use that when all this stuff ends, you know?
I fully agree with you. That was our charge to do this, was the push for authenticity, because it's not out there. It's not out there in late night right now. I mean, you know, I don't want to shit on anybody, but it's not what it used to be. And when I watch those shows now, or really anything that's out there, it's all, I hesitate to find another word. It's all bullshit.
Well, let me tell you some people that's listening right now. There's so much going on. People are policing themselves.
Yeah.
You can't say certain words no more.
Yeah.
We seen this happen in the South with the KKK. They drove them underground in the politics and stuff. And that's what's happening with comedy. That's why people are showing up at the clubs now, because they want to hear something authentic.
Get a little real.
Yeah, you want to hear, if you want to hear like some dark, fucked up shit, or people talk about certain things, you want to hear slave jokes and stuff, come see me.
Mm-hmm.
You can't talk about
No
it at
joke.
work. You can't talk about it amongst your friends, because
Right.
they might not be friends with you because they're afraid what their social group will say. But at the comedy clubs is where you can come hear people be honest about how they feel. They not trying to be right. Everybody in the world is trying to be right, even if they hide themselves. But we all got a little bit of monster in us. So come hear the monsters.
Yeah.
Be monsters and not apologize for it.
That's amazing.
Yes.
What's your website? How do people find you? How do people stay up with what you're doing and where you're playing?
ByronBowersLive.com.
Nice.
Byron with a Y.
Yeah, BYRON.
RON.
You're on the Instagram and the.
I'm
you're
on.
Facebook
I'm
too?
on.
Everything.
I'm on Instagram. I like Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I'm on
Twitter,
Facebook, but I love Instagram. I just
Yeah.
posted. I played a video game that was in the 70s, and it's very racial. And in this game, they got black people. If you go to my Instagram stories right now, wait, if you probably want time this come out, you won't know. But it's people smoking.
This will be up in like an hour or two.
Oh, it's people
It's
in the
up today.
kitchen smoking cigarettes, complaining about white people
On
in
your
a
video game?
And I was
wanna
like,
play. That's hilarious.
this is crazy.
In the
right here.
70s.
In the 70s, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
think we had Pong, and I didn't have it. My friends had it.
Yeah,
My friend Toriano had it. He was the only one I knew who had a Atari.
It's a game. It's called Mafia 3, and it's a long story game, which I didn't want to play.
I actually do remember hearing about that.
Yeah,
Whoa.
it's a game where a guy serves his country in Vietnam and has to come back to racial conflict, and he has to deal with the mob. And his dad.
Wait, is it a modern game that takes place in the 70s?
Yeah, it's a modern game that takes
I'm
place in the
picturing
70s.
like a 70s video game. I'm like, Pong? I mean, how...
No, that'll be fun if Cuba.
All right, I got you. So we've got a new role-playing game type of thing,
Yeah.
but it's set in the 70s.
And
Cubert.
and
You said Cubert.
Yeah, Cubert. Yeah, Cubert in Black Panther outfit,
Oh, please.
running
my
from
God.
oppression. That's a 70s.
Happy Halloween.
You may have just worked out something new there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a rough.
So yeah, that's funny. But yeah,
I want to play that.
I didn't want to get caught up in the game, and then I did a deal. I was trying to help this mafia guy out because he was like, "You like a son to me," and then he walked into my place and he put a gun on my dad and was like, "You fucking nigga," and blew my dad brains out. And I was like, "Well, that was and then the opening credits of the game
You
started.
just started.
The opening credits of the
Holy
game
shit.
started then." And I'm like, and you 30 minutes into a game, and you like, you know what? I got to see this through.
Wow.
And I'm like, that's great writing right there. You know what I mean?
All right, shout out for, what is it, Mafia what?
Mafia 3.
Mafia 3.
Oh, I'm in NBA. The reason I got the game because I did something with 2K. I'm in NBA 2K18 playing a character. I'm playing one
You're
of the
in it?
barbers. Yeah.
Come on.
In that game, yeah.
Oh, that's a riot.
You play a
Everybody's in
barber?
video games these days. Do you know who Rod Emery is? The guy does all the Emery Outlaws and everything, the little Porsche 356s and stuff. He's a huge deal in the Porsche community. He's going to be on next week too. But the reason they have to delay it is because Microsoft Forza is at the shop scanning all their cars.
Oh, that's right. You told me that.
Wow.
cool?
Are we going to see you at Luftgekult?
When is it? Send me the dates. I'll go.
Soon.
It's this month. It's April.
Send me the dates. If I'm in town, I'll go. I'll
right.
definitely go.
You got it.
I met Magnus Walker, man.
Oh, he's great, isn't he?
yeah,
Great.
man. Somebody I know was selling a car, and he was like, "I'm about to go." Magnus want to look at my car. Come hop in the car, and I hopped in the car, and we went over there.
What car was it?
It was a 928.
Mm-hmm.
The one from Scarface, flip up lights, right?
The actual one?
Nice.
No,
Oh,
not that
but
one.
the same
But yeah,
kind,
the same kind.
Like Risky
yeah.
Business.
Definitely a worse version.
Okay.
Because Magnus didn't buy the car, but he definitely showed us around
Was
the
it in
place.
1974?
Oh, so you went to the shop and everything?
Yeah,
you
I
saw
went and
cars
saw
and
all the
everything?
cars,
Cool.
and then it's like a museum in there.
Yeah,
and
he's neat.
and all the 944s he had, which I didn't know he had that many.
In the other side,
924s and 944s, yeah. And I was like, this is crazy. The building was the thing.
Me too. Well,
Like, fuck the cars. That building.
we've shot there.
Downtown?
I've shot there for television
Oh,
shows
for
and
real?
stuff, and way before we ever knew about Magnus Walker and his Porsche collection, because the cars are separate, from the upstairs
Yeah.
loft. And I've shot there a bunch of times and had no idea. And then a couple years ago, Magnus Walker becomes a big deal, and all the movies come out and everything.
Yeah, I'm like, give me the building.
Yeah.
You keep the cars.
Yeah.
I like that. Man, that's a nice piece of real estate right there.
Well, I hope you come. That'd be fun. Go check out some cool shit.
Yeah, I should drive down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. You got anything for us?
As far as what?
I don't know.
Oh,
Any
go to-
questions for us? Because you're going to start a podcast soon, right?
Yeah, but I don't know. I
I'm
gotta
saying
think.
that because I want to pressure you and I want to hear a commitment.
Yeah, I definitely have to get into something because I have to get my voice out there and like some of the weirdness that we could discuss. You know what I mean? I don't know if I want to talk about some of the stuff we talked about today,
Right.
which is like your internal self that a lot of people don't really.
People don't give a shit, but I don't care because I want them to eventually. It's like you said, you got to keep saying your shit until eventually you tip the scales.
Yeah,
That's what I believe.
Because we at the end of the day, we know now who's looking out for us. You know what I mean? You could continue to put your trust in some of these corporations and stuff, but until they catch on, it's us. At the end of the day, you know what I mean? And they still trying to eliminate us. And I'm not saying that from a conspiracy theory point of view. I'm just looking at what's the food and the stuff like that. Something just ain't right with that stuff. So, yeah, man, it's up to us to keep this thing going. You know what I mean?
Can we talk about your shirt before you leave? You want to show that? It's not Black Lives Matter, which is what it looks like immediately. That's Mr. Neil deGrasse Tyson with Black Matter Lives.
Black Matter lives.
Yeah,
You
right
know
on.
what I mean? It's
And that
just
was
showing
your
how
concept.
connected as everything is.
Yep.
Yeah, this is when you do LSD and then you try to do, and then it's a riot going on, and you just imagine like you the only nigga on mushrooms at the Black Lives Matter thing, like talking about the universe. You know what I mean?
Did you do that?
No, but I thought about it. This is where that's where the thought came from.
I thought the same thing. I was
That
like,
would be
is this a
great.
theoretical or did this actually
Yeah, it was just a
happen?
theory I had. You know what I mean?
That would be great.
Because at the time, the Black Lives Matter thing was just so separate from everybody being one, and this is a version of both. You know what I mean? Because Black Matter is what it's just basically what all space is, and it's constantly moving, just like our energies and stuff. So I was
It's all
like,
the stuff. Was it 80%? Right? Is
Yeah.
Black Matter?
and it's crazy. You know what I mean?
And we don't even address it. Like
It's everything
we're
you can't see is
specifically
black
not
matter.
looking at 80% of the universe. Like,
I think it's because we
Feed
don't
the
know
right
how.
well.
I think it's the sensory thing, right? It's up to 3D. You only have whatever, and then once you get into other things,
Yeah.
you can start seeing other things.
I think we actually have 6 senses, and we've been told we only have 5. I think thought is the 6th sense. So if you actually use that becomes way bigger, and you can think into that 80% of black matter. And then you at least know you know enough to know it's there, which is thought.
Awareness is key.
Yeah, that's
Huge.
all it is.
And that's
I
what
think.
the This Is Not Happening story is about. It's when a young man becomes aware of how he got
That's
in this
what it is.
situation.
Thank you.
You know
Comedy
what I mean?
Central. I watched it on YouTube. Is that
Yeah,
where
no, you
people
go to
find it?
YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely go to YouTube and watch it.
All right.
That's where I watched it at.
Is it really?
Yeah.
All right.
It's so interesting, though, and it's so deep.
Yeah.
I said yesterday, and I hope it's okay. I said after watching it, not knowing what to expect, I talked about it on the podcast actually yesterday. I said, and I hope you wouldn't mind this comparison, but I said it honestly felt a little bit like early Prior, and I'm saying that only because instead of just joke, we're talking about some seriously fucked up shit that happened to a kid.
Yeah.
And it formed who he was and the thinker that you are and the person that you are today. And it's one of those where you made it funny. You made it real funny.
I don't know if I made
But
it
it's-
funny, but
Well,
can I tell you about Instinct?
I don't want to. I don't want to say anything because
Do
I don't
we-
want to give away the material.
What,
But
do
I
we
mean,
have time to talk about Instinct? Yeah.
Still good.
When I was sitting out there, I just landed from Chicago, and I was tired, and I almost got into a scuffle with security, even walking into the place. So my energy was already whatever, and I was looking at this story like I don't even know where the jokes are, and then instinctively it was like there's no jokes.
What made you tell that story?
That's the one they wanted out of the two.
Okay.
There's 2 stories I told previously, and the one became too funny. And they was like, we want it before it becomes super funny.
The nature of this is that it's a little heavy by the whole series, right?
Yeah. And well, mine is a little heavier than others. The ride I take people on is a little heavier than others.
Oh.
But instinctively, I was like, you know, my instincts was like, you should do it this way. And I was like, I need to end on a joke. And my instincts was like, no, just tell them the real ending.
Mm-hmm.
Give people the real ending. Why? That's what you do it for, is to give people something. Give them that gift. Somebody will always come up and be funny after you. But give them, like, move them. Just send them on a journey.
See, I'm with you there, but man, that's against the grain, isn't it?
But that's why my comedy is based off those tense moments.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Agreed.
And then the comedy comes from that. That's why it's always these dark things to start with, you know? And I was so happy to be on stage, and I did it, and people were on the verge of tears. I'm watching them. And then the end, I just said something, and the room just exploded. And I was like, wow. You know, that was another moment of just taking that leap of faith and not dealing with the fear. And and it showed that moment. And when that happened, I just dropped the mic.
You did, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just, you just see a sense of relief. Like, I just lean back and I dropped
like
the
therapy
mic
almost.
and just stare. I just stare off into the ether, you know?
Well, whatever you gave and delivered to them, you got that out of you, right?
Yeah.
So it's a release for you, right?
It's a release.
It felt like a collective release. Like anyone in the room, whether they had the same version of your story or anything that rhymed with it.
True, yeah.
Perfect.
So it lets everyone release all of that tension that you've built up for everyone along the way. Thanks for that.
And probably to this date, the most relatable piece I have.
Really?
Yeah. And the more I start talking about some of these things and just getting into stories, like when I did a joke about the fear of death. My fear of death, dying in a very embarrassing way.
Okay.
And getting hit by a Fiat, since we're on a car podcast. I'm gonna tell you, like, this is what happened, and this is what my girl has to live with. It was an episode when it was a thing that happened when a cop shot this dude, right? And in front of his car, and it was a Camry. And I was like, oh my gosh, he died in front of a Camry.
It's embarrassing.
I don't want to die in front of no Camry. Yeah. I would crawl to like a Benz or something. You know what I mean?
You know they're going to photograph that
They're going to photograph, and it's going to be seen everywhere, right?
Everybody.
Forever.
Yep. So that was like my worst fear of getting hit. Like, that's my worst fear. That's what I would talk about. Getting hit by a Fiat or a smart car. And if I ever got hit by a smart car, I would call the police and say, fuck you, so they come shoot me. That way nobody knew I got hit by a Fiat or a smart car.
I love it.
Because you become a hashtag.
You get murdered by cop instead of...
You live forever, yeah. But if you get hit by a smart car, you just a dumb nigga that got hit by a smart car. You know what I mean?
You can't simplify it any... You can't dumb it down any further.
That's what you become, you know what I mean? And that becomes your legacy. Like, what happened to Byron? Oh, that dumb nigga got hit by a smart car, you know? And some people didn't want to laugh, and I was like, you wouldn't want to laugh, but if that was a song, you'll be dancing your ass off. You know?
I laugh, no problem.
So, I mean, yeah, those are those things. So when I remember doing that, and a lady came up to me after the show and was like, my son died in a car crash, motorcycle accident, and I haven't been able to laugh in a month.
You did.
But because of that joke or that car accident, I was able to laugh.
Good.
Right?
It's all people like that need, and no one knows how to make them laugh because everything sounds awful.
But it sounds so, it's and then you get an understanding of why you do this. Yeah. And when I did that story on Comedy Central, so many people have written me, and
good.
Somebody mentioned prior also, and like, this is how comedy should be. And those are the levels I want to take it to anyway. You know what I mean?
I hesitate to say that because you don't want to make the comparison, because your thing is your own thing by far. I don't want to make anyone think that you're up there doing a prior thing. Like,
no, it's not.
This is some interesting
culturally. It's
but Mike
like
from Comedy and Magic said you have that kind of that vibe a little bit.
Well, you're marching to your own drummer, and you're not giving a shit what anybody else thinks, and I think that's maybe a parallel as well.
Yeah, you don't hide. You know the pain. You know whatever hurts you is there. I don't hide the stuff that hurts you. You know what I mean? It's just the thing of like, we all been hurt, and how can we all, celebrate, these things because there's a silver lining in it.
Yes, sir.
Also, if we'll cry if we don't laugh at some of this stuff.
That's what I feel a lot of your comedy is. You find the silver lining for situations.
Yeah.
Situational silver linings,
Yeah.
if you will.
That should be a good title.
I like
that
that.
should be the title of the podcast.
Of yours.
Yeah.
I like it.
Situational silver linings.
Take it. It's all yours.
So that's why we're
Byron
going to talk
Bowers.
about slavery. We're going to talk about the Holocaust. We're going to talk about, these weird things that people do when you put 7,000 shoes outside the White House in remembrance of
7,000 pairs.
kids.
Yeah.
And then you get mad when I ask what size are the red ones. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody got mad at me.
Perfectly normal question.
Someone got mad.
You in a city full of homeless people, you going to put 7,000 shoes out on a White House lawn in remembrance of people who ain't here.
Who can't wear
And what
shoes.
in the wintertime.
Who can't wear shoes, yeah. It's not thought out.
So that's my thing. What are these people supposed to say? Like, what are the homeless people supposed to say? Not ask you, yo, well, let me get the purple ones right there. You know what I mean? And you gonna get mad at me? I'm just pointing the thing out. So yeah, check us out, ladies and gentlemen. Continue to watch.
If there's anything we can do to help you with your podcast, getting it going or whatever, you let us know, all right?
Thank you.
I have a lot of
Thanks for
ideas.
coming over.
Love
No problem.
I hope
man.
you'll
Thank you
come
for having
back.
me. This is a beautiful space. I like the shutters, but that's a whole nother thing. We're gonna talk about who put this place together later because it's done nice.
That's my
I'll
work.
just save everyone the time. It's Jay Ryan.
Jay Ryan. Jay Ryan got style. And that's why he's called Jay Ryan. But that's
Yeah.
why his name is Jay Ryan. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's
The
an
letter.
old player's name. You know?
I'll take it.
Oh, you want that done? You gotta go to Jay Ryan's. You know?
I love you, man.
Hey,
I'm so glad you're here.
thank you.
This is awesome. Mrs. Ryan, I love you
Love
too. Yeah, we're here tomorrow. All right, we'll just see you tomorrow. Thanks for coming, everybody. Dude, you're a riot. You're a riot.
every day?
Yeah, Monday through Thursday.
Oh, I thought you just record Monday through Thursday.
No.